I spent about half of the 2020s hosting a podcast called Delayed Replay, recapping and reviewing movies that came out on time in my universe but got delayed in that other universe. And as such, the movies as they were in my universe came out differently. Some listeners not of this universe even think that this is an improvised comedy podcast. And hey, let them think what they want. It's entertaining either way, right? I'm Steven Shinder, and you're listening to Delayed Replay Season 6. Hashtag 6 seasons about movies. New episode every other Saturday. Unless I say otherwise. Hey everyone, so this is the Avatar 4 episode, and while editing, I wasn't sure that this was clear in the recap, but yeah, in this version of Avatar 4, there were Tulkuns who were basically like flying dragon-like whales, and I guess they like branched off, and they were the ones who adapted more to just being in the water, so yeah, keep that in mind as we go through the recap. But anyway, we'll do the typical discussion, and then after that, updates from my other self. But without further delay, enjoy the show. Hello, listeners. Welcome to another episode of Delayed Replay, that podcast where we recap and review movies that got delayed in that other universe but came out on time in our universe. I'm your host, Steven Shinder. And joining me once again, a returning guest, it is Greg. How is time over there 8 hours ahead of me?
Oh, it's good. It's good. It's freezing. It's it's just winter, isn't it? It's just a bit dreadful. Getting colds and all that sort of fun stuff.
Yeah, and even worse, you have the holidays to look forward to with all the holiday cheer and all the noise, noise, noise.
Yeah, especially when your birthday is surrounded by Christmas. It's kind of awful.
Oh, that's right. It is your birthday around the time.
I'm
Um,
full of holiday cheer.
yeah,
Can you
clearly.
tell?
Yeah. Well, speaking of holiday cheer, this movie, picks up from, it's still showing the aftermath of like what's become of this new ecosystem now that these two moons of Pandora and Arthur merged into Keith. And so there's a lot of different changes in weather and stuff. Like it's all snowy at the beginning of this. Did they say how much time has passed since the third one?
I think the kids are like adults now
Yeah,
that we
yeah,
saw, but I
yeah.
don't think they specified a time frame.
Right. So it's kind of ambiguous because we don't really know how long it takes for Navi to reach adulthood, being aliens and whatnot. So yeah, also it feels kind of lazy that they didn't even like put a specific year on the screen. They just leave it to the lore nerds to figure it out, I guess.
I mean, it opened up to like because they were just hunting in the snow as adults, so you kind of just assume that oh, there must have been a time jump somewhere, or didn't just suddenly grow up.
Yeah, they're hunting like some sort of stag looking thing, but it's got like snake eyes or something. Like it's got these eyes that are kind of protruding outward and look like snakes.
Mm.
So, yeah, I think they were kind of ripping off Narnia here a bit. You got the kids that are grown up and they're trying to go after the white stag type of thing.
Yeah, it's weird that the stag was voiced by Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. I was, and it doesn't even speak. It's just does animal noises. So it's Nicolas Cage be like, "Roar!"
Yeah, they had that Snake Eyes reference.
Yeah. And I saw the behind the scenes of this where you see like Nicolas Cage doing the motion capture, and he like got on all fours and when he didn't even need to. Like he was going full on like outdoing Benedict Cumberbatch as Smaug type of thing.
He was doing the Golem.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I
Come on,
guess
you went straight to him instead of instead of like the
it
forebearer
yeah,
of all motion capture.
yeah, instead of yeah.
Wow.
The third or fourth ring bearer or whatever he was. Um so yeah, and we got this they show us like how all the different tribes and stuff are trying to adapt. We see like they're trying to make fire and stuff. Of course, in the previous movie, there was fire here and there from all the chaos, so they continue that little bit of imagery here. And Jake kind of tries to tell them about how back on Earth, when it would get really cold, they would try to cheer each other up by celebrating these holidays. But the kids are like, Dad, we really don't have the energy for your silly nonsense.
ECA starts singing Christmas carols on the fire.
Yeah. Yeah. So then he tries to tell a story around the campfire. He's like, let me tell you a tale that might lift your spirits. And so it crossfades and changes to the POV of some sort of captive on a wagon. And then a little bit into this, it says, uh, Bethesda presents the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim.
I knew you were gonna go there. And then like a whole playthrough of Skyrim, you're just sitting there watching someone play Skyrim
Yeah.
for like 3 hours.
Yeah. But it's kind of remastered and upscaled. Uh,
Like AI upscale, so it looks awful.
right. Yeah. Which is really weird because, like, Cameron was sort of pushing against AI. So it kind of feels like the studio were like breathing down his neck, trying to like pressure him into this. Um, and I guess with them not being sure if the fourth one would make as much money, they did like all these collabs with different companies, including Bethesda. So it really does sort of become feeling like a corporate hodgepodge, um, which I guess is kind of ironic given the previous movie ended with a merger. It was a merger of moons.
Yeah, he's basically copying Michael Bay because the Transformers basically full of product placement.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, speaking of mergers,
Yeah. Yeah, like Netflix and WB. Oh, man, I don't
I
know
don't think
what's gonna happen.
it's not gonna go through. I don't think.
Well, we'll see. But also speaking of mergers, they did this weird thing in this movie where I guess because audiences kind of get the kids mixed up, a bit into this movie, they have this moment where like they're explaining how like this new ecosystem sort of merges things together over time. And so eventually we get this moment where the kids are sort of all merged into one being. So now it's like Jake and Atiri are like, oh, thank God we only have one kid we have to worry about now.
Yeah, it's weird because like when they were forming, they became like one massive like iceberg because they got trapped in the iceberg when they were forming. But then once they came out of the ice, they were like, "Hello, I'm Aang."
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, not even though they used the M. Night Shyamalan pronunciation Ong. Yeah, like man, they're just being shameless at this point, like with what they're copying now.
Ron James Cameron didn't have any more original ideas.
Yeah, that's the question, which I guess we now have the answer to.
Yeah, none.
And I mean, on top of that, we get these other IPs coming into play here. But before we get to that, one of the things that this movie touches on is this mysterious figure called the Tolkien writer. So now and then they see a Tolkien, like this flying thing, flying up above them, and they're like wondering who the person writing it is. And so they go on a quest to meet them, and it turns out it's this really old Navi woman who is like the keeper of Pandora history, and she's like really upset with how they've changed things. What did you think of her character?
It sounds like she was, because she was like in like a little hut where she was like spoken the entire time. So like her voice was like really gravelly, and she's trying to tell people off for merging the moons. And they're like, I didn't grow up with, I grew up with two moons, and now you got one moon. I can't believe you've done this.
Yeah. And her name is J.R.R. So it's like J.R.R. the Tolkien writer. I think there's like an apostrophe in there in her name
Yeah, somewhere
somewhere.
in there.
Yeah. And she talks about how she is able to like, she was even able to get knowledge of Pandora from before her time because this Tolkien that she rides is really old and she's able to see its memories. So for a bit of this movie, we get to look into the Tolkien's memories of some of the earlier tribes, like even before the humans came. What'd you think of this whole sequence here?
I found that really interesting because we came from like the nature stuff, but now we're seeing it's more about the culture of how they came to sculpt the landscape to help them survive the quite rough climate.
Yeah, and we see how some of the land looked before some of the landscapes came to be how it looks in the first movie with like floating islands and stuff. Like Pandora kind of looked a bit normal, like a bit closer to resembling Earth. And then it wasn't until like all these like different huge changes happened, like in the weather and stuff, that it sort of became looking more like a fantasy sci-fi type of place.
Yeah, because they all had the different factions that broke off and like had their own like not like element, obviously, but
Yeah.
but they each had their own way of living after they all split up.
Yeah. And this one tribe that is very much connected with the Tolkien's, their element is pretty much wind because of the flying and stuff. So we get to learn a bit more about them and the first instance of a Tolkien being tamed, which come to think of it, did this copy How to Train Your Dragon? Like the more
Yeah,
talking about yeah,
yeah.
God damn it.
Well, they did change it where the Tulkun got he like flew into a cave and like damaged his wings. So I guess that was like a different way of going about it.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Um yeah, the Tolkien, like, they feel very much like dragons, that's pretty much what they are here. Um, but yeah, this whole flashback thing is interesting because Cameron was saying for years that, maybe there'd be like a prequel type of thing. So I guess this was his way of doing it. And I thought this was interesting from a lore perspective, at least. But did any of the characters in this flashback stand out?
Yeah, he had a Terminator for some reason.
Yeah.
That surprised me, but like it was not because he was just there, but because like he was like integrated into society, like everyone around him just accepted that this machine was just living among them.
Yeah, it was this Terminator that was made to look like a Navi. And, you know, um, I think it's like Neytiri who's like looking into these memories. Like she and Jake are both looking, and Jake is like, "Wait a minute, I've that doesn't look like it's from here." And he vaguely recalls like some files on Earth about this thing way back in the past called Skynet and these Terminators and stuff. Um, so they're kind of vague about how the timeline played out. Like, did Skynet take over? Did it not? But yeah, I thought that was really weird, and especially like the actor that they got as this Terminator being Michael Cera. That was kind of a bold choice there.
He gave a very convincing performance though. Like he really tried to get his voice low, but I assume they probably used a voice modulator on him because there's no way his voice is that low.
Well, I watched the behind the scenes footage of this, and apparently that's all Michael. Like he is apparently such a great actor that he's able to like make his voice sound that deep. He's just like
Oh,
really good at not making it seem like he can't most of the time.
so what you're telling me is that his high-pitched voice, he puts it on, and this is his real voice.
Yeah, yeah. Like his high pitched voice is just an act. But yeah, seeing him as this Navi Terminator thing, it's also pretty scary because of how tall he is. Um, I was not prepared to see a Michael Cera this tall and blue and whatnot. Um, but yeah, so they're basically wondering like, what the heck was a Terminator doing back there? And that's where like time travel sort of becomes part of this movie. What'd you think of that whole aspect?
Yeah, that's weird because it was because they fast forwarded a bit, like when the humans started arriving on Pandora, and they had like reactor engineers around a like ancient monument, and I guess they discovered that this ancient monument helped the Na'vi travel through time. But I think maybe we just got lost to time because we never heard about it before this movie.
Yeah, so now there's certain Na'vi, in the present day who are now looking for this ancient monument because they're like, the way the world is sucks right now. We need to go back in time and stop the humans from ruining everything. But then, Jake very, I guess you could argue whether this is selfish or not, because it's the desire of the few versus the desire of the many. But Jake is worried because if the humans don't have their involvement here in the past, then he doesn't get to come here and have his family. So, what'd you think of that whole dilemma?
It basically, as kids were like, you would want rather save the whole race than save us, and not obviously. Jake's like, well, you're important to me, but this race is my family.
Yeah. So Jake sort of like tries to find some files, some secret files within the what remains of the human base, and he's trying to research Terminators, trying to see if he can sort of make it back in time first before the other Navi get to use a monument. And he makes this discovery that um he was looking through the files and he notices that one of the Terminators in the past from Terminator Salvation looks exactly like he did when he was human. Um, of course, in real life, we know that Marcus was played by Sam Worthington, so it's the same actor. But yeah, what'd you think of that whole rabbit hole there?
Yeah, he's like, I don't remember doing this. But then what we come to realize is that was him traveling back in time because they show bits of Terminator Salvation.
So presumably, like, it's really confusing the way the movie explains this, but they try to spoon feed it to us through narration. Basically, the Na'vi who in the present day find the ancient monument go back in time. They stop the humans from continuing their involvement, and because of that, Jake Sully is he remains on Earth, when he's like still in a wheelchair and stuff, and after his brother has passed away. But the military decide to like still keeping him involved in stuff, so they're able to get him to walk again, and with a stipulation that he has to like go back in time, like test out some time travel stuff. And he does go back in time and becomes Marcus, and shows like this backstory of like when he meets someone else who becomes like a new brother in a sense, but he ends up like accidentally killing him and gets framed and stuff, and basically playing out the backstory in Terminator Salvation. Um, but I was really confused about how that info ended up in the database. Well, I guess this would have been like after the monument went back in time, the present day changed a bit, and so I guess Jake would have been able to see some of the info on the computer. It's really confusing.
Well, because it's all one timeline. I guess nothing changed yet. So what he sees is what he's already done to gather that information.
Hmm.
Yeah, but it's not
Yeah.
really explained well, is it?
Yeah, I gotta see like a Tumblr blog about this to like.
It's going to be like pages and pages of like investigations just to piece together this mess.
Yeah,
Putting it kindly.
right. Also, one of the big visual things of this movie is, in the past when they show like early Pandora, there are a lot of these giant grape looking things. They look like Zinfandels. What'd you think of these fruits of Pandora?
Well, you just had everyone trying to harvest them, but because they're so huge, you just see them on like these massive trees, and they just keep falling out, and then you see them landing on the Na'vi, and it's actually quite funny.
As the timelines are, you have this timeline, time travel stuff going on, but also in the present day on Pandora, things change because of the humans not coming, and Jake can feel like, that reality is changing and whatnot. And it's even more complicated when a xenomorph and a predator show up in the mix. What'd you think of the designs of these versions of them?
Weird. It's like as if they came from as if as if a predator and a xenomorph got into those machines and became a Na'vi.
Yeah.
It was like a really awkward because they look like Na'vi, like the blue and the tails and stuff, but they were shaped as if they were a xenomorph and a predator. It was
Yeah.
yeah, it was really off-putting.
Yeah, they even have a bit of like glowing purple. Um, like it's kind of weird seeing that aesthetic on them because I'm used to them being like looking all dirty and gross and stuff. But yeah, basically they become a new threat. You know, the xenomorph is a threat to the ecosystem, and the predator is like hunting some of these people of different Na'vi tribes and even taking down some of the bigger wildlife. So one of the side plots of this movie is like rallying some of the Na'vi to like use these Tulkuns to fight against the Predator ship, and you also have um, they're trying to figure out what to do about the xenomorph, and the acidic blood is like damaging some of the plant life. I really feel like they put too much into this movie, man.
Yeah. Kind of overstuffed, but he does. I mean, these films are like over 3 hours long, and he just pants it out with whatever just comes straight to his mind. He's like, yeah, aliens, predators, let's get him in there, come on. But he doesn't think about how it's affecting the story and
Right.
how the Na'vi are going to rally against it. Like, doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah, and they couldn't even resist having Arnold thrown into the mix, as he looks like his character from Predator 1, but he's also a Terminator. So he's like this, Jake finds him and brings him back online or something and uses him to fight the xenomorph. And to be fair, it is a cool visual seeing like the xenomorph blood kind of drip on his face so that like a bit of the skin melts, which I guess we've kind of seen in different ways in past Terminator movies. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just so over like having to show a de-aged version of a face. It's just too distracting to me.
Did you forget that Michael Cera's Terminator fights against his Terminator?
Yeah, I thought that was kind of fun because since Michael Cera's Terminator is Navi height, he's taller than Arnold, so it's kind of comical. Um,
Yeah, just Michael Cera just towers over him and it's hilarious.
yeah, he like bites his head off.
But somehow Arnold's one still wins because what he does is he puts Michael Cera into a trebuchet and just like launches him.
Yeah, and he even says the line, "You will not be back." Yeah, it was painful.
Yeah, yeah, I felt the pain.
Yeah. We also get these weird cuts back to Earth. Um, like I guess sometime after the missions to Pandora started, they created like this amusement park, which I guess is basically like the Avatar amusement park if how we have in real life, but just more high tech in this version. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's weird. They had like caged Navi and stuff.
yeah, like Nicolas Cage Navi. It's like, man, Nicolas Cage is like getting paid from beyond the grave, basically.
That was wild.
Yeah. I was kind of wondering what the point of this was. Like, I don't know if it's trying to make a statement about commercialization or but at the same time like even though it might be commenting on it, they're still doing it by like merchandising these movies and characters and stuff. So it's
Yeah.
feels really weird.
Yeah, it's like you're promoting some against something that you're like actively doing.
Yeah. Or like especially in this instance, Cameron has what through the Terminator movies seemed anti-AI, but here, like, in this version of the movie in our universe, they've apparently forced him to use AI. So it really is a mess of contradictions.
Yeah, it hasn't really gone out and saved the wilderness either, has he? Despite championing Avatar to like be like for the forests and stuff. Like, they don't seem to go into the Amazon and saving the trees, saving the tree people.
And you also have this thing going on where the Na'vi try to cause a volcanic eruption because they're like, this will help the weather, they'll save us from the cold, and it might also be our last shot against these alien invaders, like the xenomorph and the predator and stuff. So we get that happening, and uh like it causes like this huge eruption. They are able to do it by using one of the predators like explosives that they were able to find, and this might be like one of the biggest explosions I've seen on film. What do you think of this?
Yeah, I would not want to know how long it took to render that explosion because yeah, it wasn't just the volcano that got erupted. It was like a 2012. The whole Pandora was like, well, Keith was splitting apart in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. And as Keith is splitting apart, we also see Jake is kind of splitting apart because of the timeline changes. So now it's like it's this really weird thing where his consciousness is split into two different timelines, and he's somehow aware of what's going on in both timelines, but has to like act out both scenarios. And it's like, man, like this would be a huge headache having to, um, keep two different universes at the same time in mind. I don't know like what they're doing here. Like are they just trying to create a new concept that has not been explored much in sci-fi while still sort of copying other things? Like it's such a mess, this movie.
Yeah, because it's not just because obviously he's going back in time and trying to change the future, but he's still in the future at the same time. So it's like something has to give, but it doesn't look like James Cameron is willing to pick one timeline over the other. Maybe he does in the fifth film in like 10 years' time, whatever. When he finally discovers what he actually needs from his movies. But yeah, I don't. It's too much to wrap your head around. I don't even think James Cameron understands what he's doing.
Yeah, like the Terminator Salvation events are a foregone conclusions, so it's like, what was even the point of exploring that whole thing if we already know the what happens there? And yeah, it becomes this really weird psychedelic thing where Jake is sort of lost and he's wondering like, what do I need to do? And he's like, I gotta find Awa somehow. So yeah, like there's also like this whole subplot with like a reactor engineer, when he's in human form and he's in the 2000s as Marcus, he's trying to like stop this reactor engineer who is involved with Skynet apparently. because he doesn't want like more people to die. But yeah, that reactor engineer is just like inconsequential in the end. So it's like, what was even the point of killing him?
Yeah, just to create some more plot, I guess, to fill out his movie. But doesn't
Yeah,
make much sense why you keep introducing people just to kill them off.
yeah, I do appreciate that this movie at least had an intermission. I don't think 5 minutes was enough for the intermission though,
No.
because like the line to the bathroom was pretty long.
Like I don't even think I made it back in time. I mean, I probably missed a couple of minutes there.
Yeah, you didn't miss much.
Yeah, it's weird how they they turned to camera and said, "We're going to an intermission. Please take your food with you as you leave the theater."
Yeah, and it's the intermission music that plays in Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Nice. Yeah, that's my stuff. You know, still copying everyone else's stuff.
Yeah. So, were there any other events you wanted to touch on from this movie before we sort of wind down?
It's a mess trying to see if I can remember anything else. Um, we did forget about um where Quaritch was the whole time because it keeps on coming back to him in prison. And he's just sitting there, but like he's like he keeps on getting like not like newspapers, but like he's getting told what everyone's up to, and he's like, I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, he's basically the surrogate audience. He does get to fight the Predator at the end, so it's like this is how we see the death of this particular Predator. Um, I guess it was kind of a cool fight, but at the same time, it's like who was asking for this? Like Quaritch versus Predator, like who really gives a crap?
I mean, he got out his machine, his mech suit, to like really pummel him, yeah,
Yeah, he
pummel him in the air.
yeah, he got his mech suit and was like, "Get away from me, you bitch."
But then obviously you get Sigourney Weaver's character in the mech suit as well, and they're both fighting alongside each other.
Yeah, it's a very much a reverse of their dynamic as like their characters in the first movie. So it was really weird to see this sort of alliance.
It was very short-lived though, because they started fighting each other as soon as they killed the Predator.
Yeah. So we pretty much have that up in the air. There's so much in the air that I don't even know if they really resolved in this movie or if things will be definitively resolved in the fifth one. But yeah, overall, I just came off of this feeling like it was kind of a dreadful experience.
Yeah, it just hurt my head a lot, really.
Right.
And Spider was nowhere to be seen either.
Oh yeah, like didn't really give much to do.
No.
Like they were focusing a lot on some of these like other characters. Like what's really weird is like the Tolkien writer herself only has like 10 minutes of screen time, and it's mainly like all these other Navi characters we've never heard about who get
Mm.
a huge chunk of the screen time. And the ones who are shown in like the earlier time period on Pandora, I feel like they didn't really have that much character to them. They felt kind of flat and like they were just there to convey the story of how things came together for these people. So I think that's a shame because I think a story like that could have been told pretty well, maybe even in like a novel or something. like a Navi novel or whatever. But
Novel.
yeah, but yeah, it's just I kind of feel like they don't know what they're doing at this point, and they're just making stuff to see if they can get away with getting butts in seats, even if it is just a metaphorical amusement park.
Mm. I mean, you're just doing it to make money at this point.
Yeah, but it's okay because they're commenting on capitalism being bad.
Give me your money. Gotta fund the Disney train. Come on.
Right. All right. So I guess we could go into final thoughts if you feel ready for that.
Yeah, sure.
All right. What are your final thoughts? Score out of 10. And do you know of measurement for that score for Avatar, the Tolkien Rider?
I thought it was a complete mess on the from the get-go, really. Like he just kept introducing more and more people that we either see for like 10 minutes and forget about,
Yeah.
or just
Including
killed
the,
off.
yeah, including the gecko.
The gecko.
Yeah. Isn't that what you meant? Like right from the gecko?
Oh, yeah, the gecko that like crawled across camera. Just don't know what happened to him.
Yeah.
Poor gecko. Uh, um, well, still, the only main reason to watch these films at this point is just the like the visual effects. Like, even though we didn't touch on it that much, it was so realistic that you don't really notice it at this point.
Since it's so realistic, it to me it kind of feels mundane, if that makes sense. Like it just feels normal. So it's like I kind of feel like it's worn off for me. Oh, what'd you think of the music? We forgot to talk about the music.
Oh yeah, they got John Williams to do that. That's quite cool.
It felt very much like his brand, like there were some Indiana Jones and Star Wars flavors here and there. So,
Yeah, but it's like the only one he agreed to do. He was like, "Yeah, I'll come back for this one Avatar movie, and that's it." Sorry.
yeah. Yeah, I thought it was all right. There were moments where it felt distracting that it was John Williams, um,
Yeah,
because I'm used to his stuff being in different worlds, but yeah, it was aight.
even
S-
like Aaron Zimmer could have done something better, I think.
Yeah, maybe. So, what's your score out of 10 then, and unit of measurement?
I'll give it a 3 out of 10 Terminator, three out of 10 Michael Cera Terminators. There we go.
Nice. Yeah, I think I'm also gonna rate it pretty low, like based on what we've talked about and on principle of like you can't just throw IP together. There has to be more meaning to it. And this film feels like a contradiction unto itself. The visuals don't impress me that much, as I mentioned before. So I'll give this a 3 out of 10 Zinfandel grapes. Yeah, I kind of
The
wonder if
wine
maybe,
grape, I think.
yeah, I kind of wonder if maybe those are metaphors for like member berries. Like, remember when Predator or Alien or all, Terminator, all that stuff. So,
Mm.
but even if it is, it's not. It doesn't excuse the movie.
No, it's not. No, it's better to be forgotten, I think.
Right. Avatar 4 Gotten. That should have been the title.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good title.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me again, Greg. Um,
Oh, good.
I don't know if you want people to follow you on socials or. if you would just want to tell them to go away or whatever. But
Well, it was also my letterbox that I luckily got back.
oh, right, right.
You can follow me again on letterbox. Also, I got shadow banned, but it's all good.
All right. Yeah, I'll include the link to your letterboxd in the show notes. And yeah, you got shadow banned for like liking too many reviews or something, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what they told me at least.
Yeah,
It was weird.
that's such a weird reason. Um,
Yeah, they're like, I you only need like 50 to 100 reviews, and it was like, I get like over 400 a day. What am I supposed to do? It felt like people back a lot.
well, I can understand why it might think you're a bot if you're liking that many, but like you mentioned off air, like you had been doing that for a long time, so it didn't seem like a problem at this point.
Yeah, exactly. They just decided it's a problem now, and I didn't even know you could get shadow banned on Letterboxd. Didn't think it was that important of a site. It's like Twitter or something. You can't even like talk to people.
Right. Well, maybe Letterboxd wants you to be more discerning of what you like. You gotta
Yeah,
be more, you gotta refine your tastes a bit more. You can't just like every single review.
yeah, exactly.
All right. So that'll do it. Next time will be the season 6 finale. So thanks for tuning
Whoop
in.
whoop.
Yeah. 6 years of this nonsense. So,
6 years already. Cool.
yeah. Right. Six
I've been on it
seasons.
for 6 years. Wait,
All right.
where
So,
did I join season two? I can't remember.
yeah, I think you joined at the beginning of season 2. Yeah.
Missed it.
That's crazy. So, that's it for now. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. And without further delay, have a good day. All right, there you have it, folks. So, any plot holes in the story, blame the movie, maybe blame the time crunch in making the movies. I don't know. I don't know what to blame here in our universe. But you can email Delayed Replay via delayedreplaypodcast@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts on mergers, I guess. Those, I guess, are a huge topic. You can also follow me via the social media in the show notes and go to stevenshinder.com for info on my standalones and stepping stones novels, which I feel like the website describes them better than I could just real quick. And you can also find me on Yes Shift, a prog rock podcast that I do with my dad. We recently had our year in review show recapping Yes and Yes musician related activities of 2025 as well as what to look forward to in 2026. So that podcast will be back in January sometime. Now, in just a moment, my other self is gonna provide updates on what he's been watching. It might be a short one, but without further delay, here's my other self. Hey everyone, this is Steven from that other universe where we have just gotten the third James Cameron Avatar movie, which is called Fire and Ash over here. And you might be expecting a review of that film here, but yeah, that's not happening here. The visual effects for these don't really impress me all that much anymore, and I kind of doubt that the story will be much different or elevated or whatnot. And I would also kind of feel weird going out to do this when I'm such a huge fan of Roger Dean's art, and there's that whole history. So yeah, don't really have a desire to go out to the theater to see this, and not really sure if I'll be going to the theater at all the rest of the year, actually. I've heard that the new SpongeBob movie, The Search for SquarePants, is supposed to be decent. I even saw one person say that it's surpassed the first movie, which I know is such a cult classic, but I think is fine. I kind of feel like people rate it higher than I do, so maybe it's entertaining. I'd probably want to mainly see for the Ninja Turtles short that's in front of it, but I could honestly probably just wait until either of these things are on streaming and such. But yeah, that reminds me, I still need to see season two of Tales of the Ninja Turtles. I know that show got canceled, but there's still that season to watch. But yeah, this whole thing of, people, some people want to see the new Avatar, others kind of want to see trailers in front of it. Like, I guess there are different versions of the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer, and there were talks of the Avengers Doomsday trailer. I don't know if that's still happening. I kind of saw that maybe stuff was being shuffled around. I don't know, but trailers don't really do that much for me anymore as much as they used to in the 2010s. So it's kind of just a whatever to me. I'm not going to go out to see a movie just to see a slightly different trailer or even a new trailer. And that whole thing of, oh, get different versions of whatever, it kind of feels to me like that whole variant cover of a comic book type of marketing where they try to get you to buy the same book multiple times. And yeah, I'm just not down for this, really. It's whatever. What I have watched, people can pretty much just go to my Letterboxd account and see what I've been watching. There were also two more episodes that aired of the Doctor Who spin-off, The War Between the Land and the Sea. And yeah, I'm still really enjoying the drama of this series. And there's only one left to air this coming Sunday. It makes me wonder if they originally planned to air these episodes 1 week, like one episode per week. If they had done that and started 2 weeks earlier than it did, then coincidentally, or maybe not, it would have started on November 23rd, which is Doctor Who Day. So part of me kind of wishes they'd done that, but also, I've been enjoying it so much. It's like I need to see what happens next. So it's been kind of nice watching two at a time. But then again, maybe each episode should have had its own room for people to talk about each one for the week. But it is what it is. The show's almost over, and really curious about how it'll conclude because so much has happened. I did rewatch the other two Narnia movies, Prince Caspian and Voyage of the Dawn Treader, and they're fine overall. And man, I really wish we could have gotten the silver chair. Like, that third of those movies from the 2000s to 2010, it really left things hanging, and the production timeline, I guess, should have been shorter between films. But yeah, man, talk about what could have been. So it's such a strange feeling revisiting that. In terms of newer stuff, let's see. Oh, What Fun is, one of those typical holiday flair things. This one was really bland, though. I gave it like 5 out of 10. It's meh. I did watch In Your Dreams, the 3D animated movie that's on Netflix, and I kind of expected a little bit more. The plot was somewhat predictable, but it had some interesting moments. I think I'd give this one a 7 out of 10. I did rewatch The Force Awakens for its 10th anniversary, and, I think the film is fine. There's some things that I still enjoy about it, but there are also a few things where it's like, man, they still haven't really followed up on this little element here that's unexplained. and also kind of tough not to think of where certain things end up later. So it felt similar to that experience a while back of rewatching the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie, and despite the enjoyable elements, not being able to not think about what happens in the fifth movie and how downhill everything was in that last one. Let's see. I. What else? Like I said, you can check my Letterboxd, and we, of course, also had a major passing earlier this week. Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle. It's so tragic and unexpected, and there's a whole investigation going on. I'm sure lots of you already know about this, and it's spread across social media, but all that is to say, the timing of this just so happened to be around when the two Spinal Tap movies were put on HBO Max. So after hearing about all that, I went ahead and gave This Is Spinal Tap a rewatch, and then I watched the sequel, which I missed in the theater. And I think that, you know, I know people who are huge Spinal Tap heads, and it's like their favorite movie and whatnot, and it definitely has really funny moments. I just don't rake it quite as like 10 out of 10 or up to 11 as some might put it, but it's a fun time. And the second movie I thought was a natural evolution from the first movie, and it felt like they had fun making it. So, you know, it's definitely worth a watch, and the cameos were fun as well, and they make sense for the context of this type of rock mockumentary story and how rock musicians are today. And just the picture clarity, it just feels very now, but also very Spinal Tap, in my opinion. So, yeah, Rob and Michelle gone but won't be forgotten, and yeah, just keep on remembering those who are gone. That cannot be overstated, really. I also finally got around to finishing Schitt's Creek, which I know Vinny, who's been on this podcast, recommended to me like 5 years ago or something like that. I think his birthday is coming up, so happy birthday, Vinny. I finally finished Schitt's Creek, and is a great show. Enjoyed the evolution of the characters. The finale had weird moments, but yeah, I definitely am glad I went through this whole series. So yeah, I guess I'll leave it at that for now. Uh, been getting more involved in improv related stuff, so more of that in the new year, I'm sure. And been hanging out with friends and such, gonna spend time with family for the holidays. So, just winding down, and then next Saturday will be the release of the Delayed Replay Season 6 finale, which will be Return of the Living Dead 2025. And then after that, there will be a break until, I guess, end of January or toward the end of January, which will be when Season 7 starts. So that's it for now. Thanks for tuning in, and without further delay, have a good day.